Regardless, though, it's map number 2. It looks like we can get a couple of spikes, so they didn't quite fix that with the live launch of the game. Spawning in the bottom left corner of the map, it's going to be the red Terran player, ByuN.
In the top right, as the blue Terran, it's reality.
And more questions being asked. Replay packs from the tournament are planned to be sent out to our subscribers only. We don't post them publicly. We almost never post replay packs publicly, but we almost always send them to our subscribers. Some of the few exceptions to this are things like the Alima League and others. Now, Reaper's going to be opened up with once again. They're kind of interesting units when it comes to the fight. Once upon a time, Reapers were simply who shoots first wins. But now you've got who shoots first combined with high ground advantage, combined with, most importantly, that grenade, which appears to not affect their actual attack at all and does add an extra 10 damage potentially. But the most important thing is if you get hit by that grenade, you get flung in the air for about a second and you can't shoot back. This gives the other Reaper a huge advantage. So that's why we don't see anyone really rushing across the map right away. Both of them were hoping to get that free shot off on the high ground.
Do you remember the Heart of the Swarm live release?
If we're gonna talk about Reapers with high ground vision, yes.
Kind of. I was actually gonna ask. Oh no, this is actually very important. Reaper fights in the early game. You know, you're limited production, limited units on the field. If one goes accidentally like south, like you actually keep your troopers alive and they lose both Reapers, it could be like game-ending damage in the return. But that actually just was a wash. So never mind. But I was gonna say. I don't remember the actual, like, from beta to Heart of the Swarm. I remember, like, really wanting to get in the beta. It took a while for me to get into it. I remember the launch parties they had, but I don't remember, did they actually change anything from the beta to the live release in that, like, week when it was down? And people were like, why are you changing it without notifying us? I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time recalling as well, because I don't think there's nearly as much balance discrepancies there as there were for the Legacy of the Void beta. Like, you didn't have the Cyclone still, or, no, sorry, let me give a better example. You didn't have a unit like, say, the Widowmine still being tweaked up until live release. The Widowmine got heavily looked at after the game was live, but not beforehand.
Yeah.
The initial version of the Widowmine was so OP. Oh my god.
It wasn't that OP. Like, whatever. Anyways. Different time, but there wasn't anything like the adept OP-ness that existed for, you know, basically weeks at a time in Legacy of the Void and Heart of the Storm. That much I remember, because like the Warhound was the one thing that was super OP, and they got rid of that super quick. So,
still really angry when I see those in the campaign, by the way.
Right? And I'm angry that they don't just win for me. Like when Rainer's on my team, whatever.
I know, I'm like, Rainer, what are you doing? You built a Warhound and didn't automatically put... Okay,
yeah,
anyways,
exactly.
No spoilers. I do want to give a quick response here while we wait for this attack to come underway. Those Hellions are going to be picked up. I don't know if ByuN actually realized that or not. Saw the medevac for just a fraction of a second before Hellions coming towards the main. Unfortunately, it's not really a lot to defend.
They do catch it while it's unloading, though, and that's your best bet for defending against it.
Absolutely. Get some really good shots off here on the medevac as well with that Viking. Can always land it if things get a little too dicey. Not quite going to kill it, but the SCVs pull about 3 of them, and he should be good to go. Drop on the other side of the map while this goes on. Going to kill a siege tank. Oh, nice kill on the siege tank.
That was so close. If that SCV was repairing, I think it would have lived.
Maybe. Anyway, both players are going to get cleaned up, and not a ton of damage is going to get done. Reality did get a couple of workers killed, which was nice. But ultimately doesn't give them a massive lead. Nice lead, but not a massive lead. Third CC finishes up for ByuN after all here in just a moment. But we got a question in chat coming out of one of our subscribers. Phoenix636 says, BaseTradeTvT, can you give an updated opinion on the Corsair headset? I think I'm getting new ones for the holidays, and I have a big head too. So yes, I have quite a large head. Anyone who's met me in real life can verify, and anyone who's seen my hats can also verify. I love the Corsair headset. I have very little negative things to say about it. The microphone quality is not great. It's not bad, but it's not great. Other than that, I absolutely love these things. They have a really long battery life for their wireless, which surprised me, and the sound quality is fantastic. But before you go out and buy one, we're actually going to be doing a giveaway later on this week for a Void headset specifically. So I'm not saying don't buy one, but if you want a chance to maybe win one first, cross your fingers really hard.
I will say that, like, beyond anything else, a wireless headset, and maybe people disagree, like, I don't know, as casters we may have a lot more cables than other people, but like wireless makes it a lot easier.
Absolutely. Not to mention not having to take your headphones off to run to the bathroom real quick, because you've only got like a 30-second break is always nice as well.
True. Yeah.
We do have these drops heading out. Gonna perhaps be intercepted by Vikings? No, not by the looks of it.
Not at all, actually. Those Vikings are in a very odd area. I mean, technically, ByuN might rally his, units over there just to kind of set it and forget it, because who's gonna have Vikings over there? But in this case, it did not work out for reality at all.
Ooh. So graph mod's broken for me. Does number pad 1 work for you at all?
It does. Income advantage heavily in favor at one point for ByuN. Now in favor of reality.
Just curious, I wonder why mine doesn't work. This was the problem we were having before, but we'll look into that later. Thank you to the Bo3 for the new sub hype. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Medevac's gonna try to unload here on the backside. 2 tanks, lots of Marines. Gonna drive off that natural base. Meanwhile, we do have another drop coming across the map out of reality. Gonna try and even this up, but I don't know if you can match the damage and the power that this much brings.
Yeah. Once again, these type of positions are easier to break in Legacy of the Void if you have your own droppable tanks, or medevac's your own tanks, but reality is always caught without them, just barely. Now, the second medevac does pop out, and he just repositions, and he will be able to clean it up eventually without having to rush in and go through the choke the mineral provides. But it still was a very nice entrenched position for ByuN to abuse, and he will, of course, micro it until it's dead.
Actually gets quite a few more kills thanks to that micro. A couple SCV shots here.
Oh,
14
no.
going down. That got a lot worse. All thanks to that one drop pickup. Now here's the thing. ByuN had his third down much faster than reality, and he killed a lot more SCVs. So now we find him at a huge worker lead with almost over 10 workers over his opponent.
It was, I mean, a lot of that was because reality went in way too quickly. Like, 2 siege tanks still was splash, and you rally your SCVs and align them. Why? Why? Wow, Aries, why? Anyways, this fight should be a lot better for reality. As you said, more stuff and a bigger con.
But ByuN can just pick up and walk away instead of dedicating, which is always really nice.
Yeah.
One annoying Marine on the ground. Oh, just get the dead zone of the tanks. That's cute.
Just be careful as ByuN, of course, not to get too gung-ho with these pushes, you start dropping everywhere with small amount of units, and, well, they actually do start cleaning it up. But that might not be a problem, as ByuN is up 20 supply, and his upgrades are actually ahead of realities. His combat shield is about to finish up too.
This tank drop positioning is really nice. Gets a couple shots off. You're going to be able to leapfrog some of these units up to the high ground too with those Marines and that medevac. So split the damage. In reality, won't be able to respond to 2 places at once. He's got a huge army, but where can he really take it?
Well, he can just pick up the tank to take care of the main, but it's going to be a long time. A long time StarCraft 2-wise, like 3 months until you have Terrans perfecting and remembering they can pick up tanks. Even with the beta lasting for, what was it, 4 months, 5 months? We still don't see perfect tank control. And of course, they were recently changed, so
they had a huge change, a massive
accommodate
change.
for that too.
Speaking of changes, someone brought up earlier, like you asked, were there any ninja buffs? And someone claims that the neural parasite was ninja buff to 9 range between beta and live release, and that's actually not true. It was in the last balance update of the beta they gave the 9 range back to the infested neural parasite. I've referenced this many times before on stream, but we were watching players like Fenner and others really abuse that, especially in ZVP. So I don't think there were any ninja buffs or undocumentedly large changes, just things like the graphics, not about balance. But this big drop from reality is going to try and bring him back in the game, but ByuN has a really nice army back at home. Upgrade advantage as well, 2-2, going to give a huge edge to these Marines. Nothing's quite like combat shields versus non-combat shields, but everyone does have combat shields. Well, the scan's going to catch the one Viking, almost caught the drop.
Yeah, but it was so preemptive that ByuN had the opportunity to actually dodge it.
Well, he sees it.
Put a second one down.
Repositions his army in time for the fight.
Oh,
Tanks
some of those
first.
Okay, a little odd.
Yeah, reality doesn't have any. He had like 1 siege tank pre-siege. I don't think he realized that initially. So when he unloaded those tanks, didn't get the shot off. We do have a drop going off on the other side of the field. Medevac once again just kind of boosted in, getting the Marines out best he can. Dropping the natural base as well. Reality feeling the burn on this. His entire army's across the map. Nothing here to defend. Now it's kind of do or die, all or nothing. But he might just tap out if he takes too many losses. 20 SCVs already going down.
Yeah, the command center might also burn. He's just gonna tap out.
Not even going to get the epic army fight. ByuN will continue his overall lead versus Reality in best of threes and win this 2-0, advancing him on to the qualifying round.